Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's pre-market prep, brought to you by MarketFi. I'm your co-host Joel Alconin, along with Brianna Valesky, and we have Greg Capra on the line. He's the CEO of Pristine Trading. Greg, how you doing on this Wednesday?
Terrific, Joe. How have you been?
We're doing good. We're doing real good here in Benzinga land. Tell us a little bit about your firm and the services that you offer.
Well, we've been started actually as a fax service. Only people get faxes anymore, but it was before the time of the internet. And the letter is still produced today in a similar way. It's market comments, a few ideas about what we're focused on a day-to-day basis, commentary about just trader mindset, sectors that are moving. And as the internet came about, we're like, what, this fax thing is going to go away. And, Pristine really came about as an idea of how to produce some income for trading expenses. Things were pretty expensive back then in 94, 95, your own data feeds and such. And it just took on a life of itself. And we've been doing that now for, it's going to be 21 years in September.
Do you remember if you had Oldie Discount as a customer back in the late 90s, early 90s, early to late 90s, early 2000s?
As a customer, we faxed or sent out letters to so many. And one of the things that drove the business, which at the time we thought, we're not getting paid for our service, is we would send the fax out to different trading firms, and they would just run it over to the copy machine and put it on every broker's desk.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's run a lot of business in the end.
You know what? It's funny because I remember. Is it called Pristine Report or what?
Pristine Day Trader.
Yeah,
Pristine Day
I
Trader.
remember reading that. So let's talk about the overall market here, and we have been getting some pretty good moves, kind of overbought to oversold here, chopping around pretty good. Couple of things looming: the Fed, Greece, and everything. Are you seeing any extreme readings, that would tell you to, maybe run for cover?
No, I haven't seen anything that says run for cover. More or less the readings that I see are, just continue doing it day to day, because the extremes just aren't there. And, one of the most reliable extremes that I've been able to take advantage of over the years is an extreme in sentiment. And, there's different ways of measuring that, volatility index being at an extreme, which, it's at the upper end of its channel, but really doesn't tell us that much right now. But the total put-call ratio has been a super reliable sentiment gauge for me. And it's just been dead neutral pretty much all year, which means, when the markets get up to the higher end of a range or the lower end, or whether it's rallying up or down, at some point you get oversold breadth or overbought breadth readings, and I like to use the McClellan oscillator. But I've just seen that you have to have that sentiment, meaning you've got the option traders who, considered, in a sense, they call it dumb money because a lot of them are undercapitalized. Now, of course, there's a lot of smart option traders, but those that are undercapitalized and see the markets moving up or down have a tendency to jump all in at the worst moment. So this year, they just have been sidelined or just getting chopped up, as the markets have been. And even though the markets have pulled back from the top of the range, they're not loading up on puts here, which suggests to me that, the upside here is going to be limited and the downside is probably limited since we're at some support here. And we're just going to deal with this range until we're out of it.
Do you find that any stocks are particularly better range trading stocks than others? And then, whether for day trading or swing trading, a stock like ExxonMobil here, it looks like it was 85, 86 for a while, broke down to 86, went to 84. Is there any stocks in particular you find are better range trading stocks than others, maybe like a Coca-Cola?
Range trading changes from time to time. So meaning like an Exxon could be a great range trading stock, and then it breaks out, and then it's a trend stock. So, we have to continually update, what we're looking at and seeing what is trending. Even in a market like this, there's things that are trending, and how to take advantage of them. Most of them, because there aren't a lot of them, you don't get the typical 3 to 5 day pullback like we like to get, down to an area like what we refer to as minor support versus, everybody's looking at the same things because they're coming up on the same scans. And so you get a, 2 to 3, 4 day little sideways, and then it breaks again. And, so you got to jump in there with the momentum traders. And it's not an easy market environment right now.
We got Billabong in the chat here, and as so many retail traders slash investors, they don't short a lot, and probably a good thing with the way this market's been rising over the last few years. But let's say someone wanted just to try it, let's say in their virtual trading account, just for some trading. Do you have some tips and how to go about this and just a way to? I mean, I like the Billabong. I know he's been bullish a stock like OPK for a long time, but he wants to diversify his trading in case this market takes a big downturn. What words of advice do you have for him?
The simplest thing is to follow the trend. So what's weak? Oil's been stabilized. Looks like it's going to go higher. Airline stocks have gotten beaten down. They look like they're going to go lower. So the thing, where do you initiate the position? You have to initiate it near where there's sellers. So the trade-off with that is it has to go up to where the sellers are, meaning resistance. So on a short-term basis, it's showing some strength. And that, is the human nature part of what we all fight with, and you have to get over it. It's like, well, it's going up right now. It's strong, but it's at a point where it's time to short it. And so what I do and what we teach is, let's let the momentum slow down a little bit. And that might be, a red candle changing for green or a topping tail. The best for me, I like to see a little breakout failure at that resistance within a downtrend. And you place your trade, you have your stop, and, it should go in the direction of the trend.
Any particular price of stocks that you recommend? I mean, is it better to go in some of these high flyers to get the good movement? Trade with a little bit smaller size, or do you recommend lower price stocks, mid range stocks, just to get started? What do you recommend for Billabong?
My personal preference is I want a higher price. It doesn't be extremely high price. Could be a Facebook. Not even Apple is okay. You just lower the size because they can move around more. And he's starting out wider stop. So where he would perceive to be a resistance area it shouldn't get over, let him go to the second one and share size it for that. As to what's the maximum amount he wants to lose, share size it accordingly. And he should experience that kind of price movement because all of us learn technical analysis theory and we see the charts and we understand it. And just like anything else that we do, you have to live it and experience it. And for traders, different market environments, prices move a bit differently, and you have to gain that experience. So while I could explain exactly what he should do, he's going to have to experience it because of that emotional part of like, oh, it's going up, oh, it's going my way, now it's going sideways, and it's all part of become a professional at doing this.
Yeah, and starting out in the virtual account is good. We got a stock here that's popping up in the chat. Just wondering if you had your charts in front of us, if you could take a look at it for us. TK Corp, symbol TQ here. We build a little base here at 45.
What's the symbol again, Joe?
Tom King, TK Corp. I don't think I've ever pulled it up before, but a whopping. Oh, I did trade yesterday. Is this thing halted, Brentster? I see 3 trades. There's only 3 shares have traded today. Not halted.
TK?
Yeah, TK.
Let's see. It's trading bid 45.68. It's not up that much. I mean, it's down here near the prior low, so it makes sense that there's going to be some buyers here. Um, doesn't excite me.
Okay.
You get interested in it, tell you the truth.
Okay. All right. What is catching your fancy here in this morning? I'm looking at my screen and I just got old green on the screen here. I don't want to go out and short anything
Yeah.
right away, but just on your scans or your radars, what's looking interesting to you?
Well, for my personal right here now, I'm looking. CME looks good. Some of the financials, Citicorp, JPM, um, GILD has a nice pattern, strong stock, and MYL. And on the sell side, GPro is under a little pressure this morning. It's
Okay.
actually down on. I'm wanting to see if it can rally up into some resistance here. Could it be a decent short? And I have to bring it up to look at it. AMBA, which has been on a tear,
Uh
a
huh.
little extended here, and maybe an opportunity to take advantage of that on the short side. Now, that's not what I explained to the fellow that was questioning that. It's a completely different type of short, what we call a climactic kind of sell, where the stock has moved up so much, people are chasing it to try and get on board, and a moment of weakness in it, something like this is trading at $111. I mean, over the next couple of days, it could pull back $5 or more.
Do you like to spring in the action? Do you put a bunch of orders out there in the open, try and cherry pick a little bit, or do you kind of wait for 10 minutes, 15 minutes? I know we've talked to Mike Bellafiore of S&P Trading, and sometimes he likes to let the dust settle into 10, 15. What's your style?
I don't jump in right at the open. I'll typically wait. I won't. I might wait 10 or 15 minutes. Depends on how things are looking pre-market. How the futures are trading, and I prefer to trade in the direction of the market. So while this AMVA has moved down, and I love the setup because it went sideways at the end of the day. The Qs here have gapped up, and they're holding right here. So. I would let this, it's been 5 or 6 minutes here. I'm observing to see, are these markets going to start to come in? And then this AMBA would probably follow through to the downside. I mean, it's already dropped a couple of bucks. So I'd rather let it rally up a little bit to get on board while the market actually starts to come in. And it's not coming in right now. So I would go to my longs looking at, JP Morgan and Citi, and could take them over a 5-minute bars high with a market that's up.
Okay. All right. We've been on the line with Greg Capra. He's the CEO of Pristine Trading. Been talking and educating self-directed traders since 1994. Greg, thanks for joining us. Great input. We hope to have you on again soon.
Thank you, Joe. Bye-bye.